everyone. Welcome to another episode of Words of Heart. In today's episode, we have the privilege of speaking with Corbie Mitleid. Thank you for joining me today, Corbie.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, Corbie, if you could tell my listeners a bit about yourself, that would be great.
Okay, that's called the 30-second elevator speech. What I do, I am a certified tarot master, professional psychic medium, past life specialist, books, radio, television, and international following. Been reading since I was 18. I'm 66, so I know a little something. My background was never that. It was theater. My family is completely medical, and I have lived a life that's pretty much roller coaster, no breaks, having been through 3 dances with breast cancer, 2 divorces. All my parents have crossed the bridge, but I'm still here and life is still good.
So considering your vast experience with I'm gonna go with, is it the spiritual realm? Is that the right?
Yeah, spiritual, okay. Metaphysical, wiki woo, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is.
Considering your vast experience in the spiritual realm, how have you been affected? Do you feel like your particular gifts in that forum has been beneficial to those that have been affected by the pandemic right now?
People are scared. They really are. For many, many years, I traveled 45 weekends on the road doing holistic expos, things like that. My nickname was the Travel Channel. But of course, last year, all of that stopped. And so it was all online. And there were people from all over the world who had the same panics. Am I going to get out of this? What do I do about work? Will my relationships last? If I'm not with somebody, will I ever meet someone? And I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not someone that says, yes, I see a guy with blue eyes and a limp in a bar on August 22nd. I am also a reverend. So a lot of it was pastoral counseling. A lot of it was helping them say, here are my opportunities and how to grab them. Here's the tough stuff. Here's how to get through it or around it. Here's my toolbox. How do I go rock and roll?
Interesting. And I normally don't ask this on my podcast, but would you be probably because I'm curious about it. You are experiencing, I may have gotten it wrong. I'm trying not to get my details mixed up because I speak to a lot of different guests.
Oh, I get that.
Your experience in tarot card reading, correct?
Mm-hmm. Since a senior in high school.
Would you be open to doing one right now
Sure.
with me, perhaps?
Sure. Not a problem. Now, for those who are watching who don't know about this stuff, when you've been reading for practically half a century like I have, you know that while the card may initially have one meaning, over the years you let the cards be a doorway into what's going on, and the message may be different for each person that you read. That's why it is an intuitive tool. It's not just I'm reading this picture on a piece of paper. Okay. So for someone like you, I would start with what is known as the Celtic Cross. This is the 10-card thing that you see in all the bad B movies, and Jane Seymour did in Live and Let Die and the whole thing. So,
okay.
All right, I have 3 piles in front of me, left, middle, and right. Which one would you like me to read?
Let's go with the middle.
Okay. Once I have them out, I'll tell you what's going on.
Okay.
Now, I want to give you 3 of what I call my rookie rules. Okay. First, if you don't understand what I'm telling you, you stop me right there. Corbie, back it up and do it again. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You ask whatever you like. And there are 3 cards that weird out rookies: Death, the Devil, and the Tower. If they come up, I'll tell you what they mean, because it ain't that. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first thing I look for are the major arcana. Those are the cards with the Roman numerals and the names at the bottom. They are the concentrated God energy in the deck. Statistical average would say 2. 78 cards, 22 majors, you get 2. You actually have 4. Here's an example of 1. See
Okay.
the name at the bottom. So when you have twice as many major cards as average, I always see that as God saying, hello, I'm playing in your sandbox this year, give me the shovel. And whether he sends you diamonds or stinky fish, your job is to go, yeah, got it, boss. Okay.
Okay.
So for the rest of the suits, we have 4 suits. And these 4 suits are how we got the 4 suits in standard cards. Wands, which are about creativity, are now clubs. Cups, which are about emotions, are hearts. Diamonds, which are about money and stuff, pentacles. Difficulties are swords, which are now spades. Okay, so that'll help you understand as I tell you what we've got.
Okay.
So the first thing I see for you is you have 2 wands, so there is some creativity in working with this. You have 2 swords, challenges, speed bumps, crud, and the mental work to deal with it. You have 1 pentacle for material goods, 1 cup for relationships. So this is basically how creative can you be with some of the challenges coming down the pike. Now, the first card I see is, I call this the been there, done that, sold the franchise card. You know, things are just the same thing over and over again. And that's giving you the feeling of a little claustrophobia, if you will. But over it is the Princess of Cups cards. In some decks, it's the Page of Cups, which says new energy coming in, whether it's new people, new work, fresh breeze. What's the key? The key is the Fool card. But the Fool card is not the stupid person. It's the exuberant rookie. And let's look, he's carrying a rose and it has a hobo bag and a dog. What's that mean? When you grab hold of what you are passionate about, carry very little, if you will, old baggage, and only tell those who are loyal you can cross mountains and fly. So right there, what that tells me is you are going to have to kick convention to the curb and really bust out, because if you keep going on the same thing you've been doing for a long time, you're going to be like the little kid with a foot nailed to the floor who does not understand why the scenery isn't changing no matter how fast he runs. Where have you been? Past couple of years, you've been working very hard at making the right choices. You weigh the right thing. It's not impulsive. But what's coming ahead for the next 9 months is you have to be in your head, not your heart. What does that mean? Even more importantly, you have to be practically Vulcan logical as you choose what's good in the relationship, what is good in work, where do I want to live? Right now, you probably feel, this is what I call the whack-a-mole card. Do you ever play whack-a-mole at a county fair?
I've played it before.
Okay, for those who don't know, at county fairs, it's a big square piece of plywood with 9 holes in it, and a little mechanical mole comes up at odd places. And you have a big soft mallet, and you're supposed to whack it on the head. You win a Cupid doll or something. So the whack-a-mole card, the 7 of Wands, says you've been dealing crisis to crisis to crisis to crisis. It has not been a smooth road for you for a while. Now, remember what I said about this. This does not mean you're going to be hit by a bus on Tuesday.
Right.
What it means is around you, it's death of an old way of life, death of what you've outgrown, death of what was never you in the first place. Now, interestingly enough, when is your birthday? I only need the month and day.
November 19th.
11 plus 19 is 30, plus this year's master number of 5. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. That's 35. 3 plus 5 is 8. Our lives go in 9-year cycles, and you are in an 8-year this year. 8 years are what I call the foundational years. You got to make sure there's money in the bank, house and car in good repair, and you have a job. Okay. And so in order for you to really get yourself solid, there are some things you're just going to have to kick to the curb. It's okay. What you think about in the middle of the night is, this is a card that I call bitchcraft. It's manipulation. It's all those people that are too exhausting for you to deal with anymore. You know, the high maintenance ones.
Yeah.
Kiss them goodbye, honey, because if you want to move forward, you have no room for them anymore. How good are you at saying no?
I'm not good at saying no. That's something I'm
Okay.
currently working on, though.
Okay. I want to give you a magic phrase. Ready?
Okay.
No is a fabulous idea. I want you to write that down and put it above your desk, because you keep saying yes when you don't want to, which is siphoning off your energy and your willpower and your focus. What you have to do in the next 18 months, you're going to have an either or choice.
Okay.
If you play by other people's rules, it may be a very up and down sort of thing. You may have to take that leap, that faith, to go for what you really want. What am I talking about? I did this part-time since 1994. I've been reading since 73. But when the towers burned on 9/11, I turned to my husband and I said, I need to do this work full time. People need to know there are other answers out there. He said, I believe in you, go do it. So for 1 year, I still worked 70 hours a week as an executive recruiter. The next year, I left all of that safety behind and did this full time, and I have never looked back. So I think that you are going to, in the next 18 months, have a gorgeous, delicious, wonderful opportunity that may not quite look safe. But if that's where your passion lies, you've got to take the risk and you've got to take the jump. So that's an example of how I read cards. It's not fortune telling. It's much deeper than that. Does it make sense to you now?
It actually does make sense because I am experiencing some changes coming my way in the next few months.
What do I do for a living there, John? I mean, there you are.
Dang it. I'm trying to figure out how to direct this conversation because that was really good.
You're having so much fun. I know. So what have you always wanted to know about what I do? Because I don't mind asking questions about how it works.
Okay. I guess there is one thought that's across my forehead. Are you able to speak to, I said your real experience in the spiritual realm? Are you able to?
Can I talk to dead people? Yes.
Okay.
But we're not dial-a-dead. If Aunt Rose is on a field trip up there, she will not be by the phone. People need to know that.
Okay.
So, but I'm not going to do it on air, and I'm going to tell you why.
Well, that's way too personal for me.
Thank you. So many people don't understand that. And I don't just say, okay, I'm getting your Uncle Roger, who is very happy in heaven, and he says, oh, that's crap. I'm sorry, it is. When I get your person, first, we really establish very strongly that it's them. Some examples. When a woman wanted to talk to her father-in-law who had passed, all of a sudden I found myself miming a pool cue. He had taught her how to play pool. Somebody else wanted to speak to their grandfather who had died a few years before when they were still in college. And the grandfather appears and he does this. Now, this is how we salute in America. In Canada and in Britain, they salute with a palm out. She was a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and he was acknowledging that. There was no way I could know these things. So once we establish with that kind of depth that this is your person, I will tell you exactly what they say, and I won't fudge it. And sometimes these can be extremely personal. Sometimes this can be healing with closure, but it is, again, intensely private that shouldn't be out there on a broadcast. So that's why when I do my free reading hours on Facebook once a month, I won't do health questions because that's very private, and I won't do dead people, but I'll do past lives and I'll do spirit guides and I'll do standard card reading. Oh, cat fur in the house, sorry. But yes, I can talk to those who have gone on, but I don't allow a client to keep coming back month after month and asking to talk to those people because they're trying to move on. They really are. And you too must move on. So if you want to just check, make sure they're okay, have your closure, that's fine. But no, you don't need to talk to them every couple of months. You just don't.
I can understand that. I think, and I'm just, we don't have to go dive into deep detail with this. But a a couple years ago, I think 2003, my grandmother on my dad's side passed away. And I was really close to her, even though I was only 7 years old. I think it took me a lot harder to like let go of her presence because I hadn't experienced, that was like my first death
The first is always the hardest, of course.
experience. So, I mean, her time had came. Of course, I had no idea of what death really was. We all have our lives and we serve a purpose for an extended period of time, whatever that may be. And then we move on to another realm for those who are into that.
Nobody has an extended warranty, is how I put it. Everybody's warranty has an expiration date.
Yes. So I can understand the struggle of having to let go of someone close in your life, but they're looking down on you, and they are probably thinking of you. And I think that's, at least in my opinion, the amount of closure that I need. Just
and they always love you.
Yeah.
When someone crosses over, a lot of the negative parts of their personalities drop away. And what I also try to explain to people is our souls are too big to fit in these little bitty bodies. So a part of our soul is always up there. So for instance, when our mother dies, even if we're down here, our souls meet and join upstairs, and we're there to welcome them. So there's never really a total loss of contact.
Oh, you're like, my brain is just, that is so beautifully said. I would never, because I'm a really creative person, as I guess you can tell from the cards. I'm a really creative person and spiritual person as well. And I'm just blown away by how you're professing that. And I totally understand the depth behind what you are saying. So.
Well, part of it is I worked on a book series with Robert Schwartz. There are 3 books in the series: Your Soul's Plan, Your Soul's Gift, and one just came out, Your Soul's Love. And this explains life between lives and the fact that we plan our lives before we get here. Karma is not good karma and bad karma, carrot and stick. Karma is actually 5 things: healing, service, contrast. If you want to learn about abundance, you have to have a rich life and a poor life. Unbalanced energy, which is merely a neutral thing, and the healing of beliefs. So when we are down here, we have all of these things we want to learn and bring back to the soul. Okay, so we can't flunk life. We're going to learn these things easily or with difficulty, but we learn them. And then when we bring that information back, when we cross over, our life was successful, no matter what it looked like down here.
Interesting. So I do have that icebreaker question for you. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stop you because you're such a fun person to be talking to right now, but I'm gonna try.
Okay.
If you could have, I don't know, this question might not be a fair.
Blurt it out, honey. Just blurt it.
All right. If you could have any superpower that's not flying, because many people miss traveling, I have to make it a little difficult. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Now you see, normally I would say flight, not for traveling, but just the idea that I could be 500 feet up and just hang out and look. That would be so cool. But probably the superpower would be to always tell when someone is lying, even to themselves, to be able to help them disengage from the lies they're telling themselves so they can live better, live more peacefully, live with more promise.
That is a remarkable answer, and I don't think I've ever heard that answer quite yet. So that's the beauty about this question. Many people approach it differently and answer it differently. So that is a remarkable
That's why it's a good question for a host to ask.
So, my power, I don't know if it's considered to be a power, but I think it will be in the future. I'm like putting it out into the universe, would be the power for this podcast to be heard across other galaxies that have yet to be discovered.
You know, there's no reason why I couldn't be. The thing that I remind people when they think, oh, it'll never happen, it's magic, blah, blah, blah. If you go 500 years ago and you're there with a box of matches, just safety matches, they're going to look at you like you're some crazy wizard because they don't know the science behind it. I guarantee you 500 years from now, everything that we think is impossible in magic is going to be like that because they will know the science behind it. So yeah, that's very possible.
I like to think so because the whole power behind this podcast. I don't know how much. I mean, you're already following me on social media, so you may already know the power behind my podcast. But I'm going to share it because that's what I do. The whole power behind this podcast is to help others who are going through a difficult time right now, considering this unfortunate season we are in. And it's also Mental Health Awareness Month as well. So that sort of emphasizes further what my podcast embodies, and that's helping others with their emotions and they're struggling and just reminding them of the fact that they are important, that their life does have a purpose,
Yes.
and they are never, ever, ever alone, and that there are people that love them and care about them, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Makes perfect sense.
Right. We can keep this conversation going all day long, but I don't really have any other questions. Unless you have some questions you'd like to ask.
Nope.
I always give.
Nope. I'm always here. I'm a storyteller, and I had acting training, and I acted in New York, so I'm always ready for improv. I'm always ready to tell the stories. And yeah, when you've been reading as long as I have, there are always stories. So, but I'm glad that you asked me to give a sample tarot reading so people can see, it's like if you ask, is my business going to be successful? Number one, I would say, and what if I said, no, you're going to lose everything and live in a box under a bridge? Wrong question. And the other is I would do a much more deep dish reading. It wouldn't be two, 3 cards and wait until October and fire the second redhead. What? The best readings are what empower you. And that's why I wrote this, The Psychic Yellow Brick Road, How to Find the Real Wizards and Avoid the Flying Monkeys. Because the tagline is good psychic guidance is art. Don't settle for a forgery. And this is not a book to teach you how to do what I do, though you all can. We're all wired the same way. But this is a book that will tell you how to ask the right questions, how to find the right psychic intuitive, how to stay safe. Because there are some people out there, for all the ones that are good, there are the fake gypsies who will look at you and go, oh, you have a family curse. How many in your family? 4. You have dog. $50 every family member, 25 per dog. We fix. And then she's going to tell you have to burn 400 specially blessed candles at the Roman Catholic Church and come to see her every 3 weeks. No. That is so fake. So it is my responsibility. I don't care if you never come to me. It was my responsibility as one of the old line ladies doing this to make sure there was a book out there that would keep you safe no matter who you went to. So that is one of the most important things I've done is that book. And yes, you can get it on Amazon.
Awesome. Thank you, Corbie, for this wonderful conversation. It took a turn that I was not anticipating, but life is filled with turns and you just have to go with the flow.
Yes, it is.
To all my listeners, stay healthy, stay safe. If you ever need anyone to talk to, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Or if you would like some more contact with Corbie, if you could drop in your social plugins before we wrap up.
You can't avoid me. CorbieMitleid.com is the website. Fire Through Spirit is Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Patreon, and YouTube are all Corbie Mitleid.
Wow. I think that's the longest social media plug I've heard. You're on all spectrums of the internet.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Awesome. You guys got all of that. So stay healthy, stay safe, and until next time. Bye.